Okay. For this one, we're going to look at the Pathfinder. It's extremely powerful, and basically with this knowledge, you can more or less create any shapes that you can imagine. It is difficult. It does take practice, but it solves many of our problems. So here's our problem. We've got these 4 letters. We've tried to intersect them at certain points. So here you can see there's an overlap here on the T and the E there. Also, I think here we go, the T and the S here. We've got an overlap. So when we apply the stroke, you can see the stroke of each of the letters as separate letters. So what we can do is we can look at the Pathfinder, or we can use Pathfinder objects to combine and break apart these letter systems. So what I'm going to do, that's a grouped object. You know what, I can keep it grouped, and I can add the Pathfinder to that. So first of all, I need the Pathfinder options up. So we'll go Window, Pathfinder, Shift Control F9. There it is there. So when I've got my multiple objects selected, let's say for instance I go to the Unite. So this is the first one I want to check. So I click that. You'll see straight away that we've kind of lost the serif from this T. Now it's a singular object. So you can see the fill and the stroke continuing around, and let's see if that took effect anywhere else. This will now be connected, as will that. But because there wasn't a dramatic overlap, you don't see too much of an effect there. So I'll simplify that down. I'll use shapes, a couple of shapes. Anything will do. So holding shift to get a square. And I think I'll try, something else. Let's get an ellipse or something like that. It doesn't matter what colours you've got in them, one will override the other. So if I get that green circle and overlap the square and combine the two with Unite, actually you have to select them both, combine. The green, which was the object that was on top in the layers, that fill has affected that blue box there. So the two together, Unite, we've got this whole different looking object now. Looks like a little man. Or, you can keep having a look through these modes. You can see from the little diagram what they're going to do. This is going to punch out. What we should have is a box with a hole cut out. There we go. Kind of looks like, you could create a Lego, jigsaw piece or something like that from there. This is the intersect. So what we'll have is just this little arch thing, this little moon, crescent moon shape, and we hit that one. So that's what we're left with. So you can see how this one cuts away at this shape. You're left there. Or the opposite, we'll end up with a little hole when we exclude there. It's still taking the colour system from this original circle into the square, but that's what's happening there. And you can see from that, like you see, you can more or less create any objects. Just as a quick example, I'll show you a really easy one. I get a circle, I get a capital S. Doesn't matter what kind of S, because I'm just going to make it larger. Now, I won't be able to use the Pathfinder with the text, so I'm going to have to create outlines from it. So just like that, the previous video, we got type, create outlines, and now we've just got it's kind of an object. It's not quite the right S, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you what I mean by this. Let's make it look a bit smarter before we go forward. I want to get both objects, and then I'm going to cut away the S from the circle, and now what you're left with, that's a grouped object. Kind of looks cool. I can ungroup that, Shift Control Shift Command G, and now I've got absolute freedom to move any of my objects. Just show you what potentially could be done. That's all, that kind of looks good, like a bit of a leaf or a teardrop in green, I suppose. So just by using that Pathfinder, you can start creating new objects from real basic shapes. Yeah. Let's have a look. Let's just put a star in there. That might be cool. So if we're doing logos and stuff, it's real easy to create, and you can see that intersect bar, that kind of helps. Highlight, punch it out, boom, and we've got that hole. So now that you can see through that. But the thing is, in Photoshop, if you did a white star over the green box, that wouldn't be see-through, and maybe that's what you want, but that's kind of cool. So that's all from the Pathfinder here. That's your basic Pathfinder objects.